So it's the 9th of February today, and we had an afternoon shift today, so I started at 1 in the afternoon, finished work about 9:30, meant to finish work, didn't get out till about 10 o'clock. Got to the gym about 10:15, and filmed this session. I went for an hour long. I'm back home now. It's about 20 to 12, 20 to midnight. And look, we did a back session today, so 4 back exercises for 4 sets, reps ranging from 10 to 12, and then at the very end, 4 sets of bicep curls on the pulleys, just in between my last sort of upper back exercise. I've mentioned it before, but I think it's important to have pull days quite regularly in whatever lifting program you're doing. Just better posture, better back, better spine. I think if you look from an evolutionary standpoint, as probably monkeys that climb up trees and things like that, I think our pull is always something that has been very important to us. We haven't necessarily done a lot of pushing in our evolution, but it's more been pulling and grasping and climbing and things of those. So I believe that our bodies are built to use this motion and to use all these accessory muscles in your back, your shoulder, your arms, etc. And I believe it should be a strong motion for everyone. I think if you're going to become a strong lifter, you need to have a strong back and be able to do these pulls effectively and regularly in order to maintain that sort of healthy spine, healthy back, also posterior chain as well. Look, I did a little bit of research, not research, just more going down a hole on YouTube, down a web, late night the other night, and I was watching Dmitry Klokov. I believe he's Russian or somewhere from the former USSR. He's a former Olympic medalist. I think he now retired from competitive lifting, but I think he's still very active on social media. And I was watching this interview with him from probably 3 or 4, 5 years ago, and he was just giving number one tips for people who are using barbells and looking to get better in lifts, Olympic weightlifting, but lifts associated that. So for me, that translates to my squat, my bench, and my deadlift, and how I can do that. And he came across this exercise here. Now this works your lower backs, your glutes, your hamstrings, and with the addition of the bar behind your head, you're keeping that tension in your upper back and your traps. And it allows you to work the upper back, so you're getting sort of a full back, full spinal, full sort of posterior chain workout all at once. Here you're keeping the tension in your back, in your traps, a little bit in your lats. Your erector spinae are being activated, and then lower down, your lower back's being activated. Your glutes are coming through tight as you sort of hit 45 degrees in the motion. And then your hamstrings round that off as well. This exercise was shown in this interview, this video, to be done on a sort of reverse hyper machine. My gym doesn't have one of those machines, it has this. So I just did my best adaptation of it, so obviously coming up almost all the way possible. You want to I keep my head relatively neutral here, but I think the idea is you almost want to have your head back, looking towards the sky and looking up. So just making sure everything is engaged, and obviously you're sort of trying to keep that bar behind your head with your back pinched tight. You want to pinch your shoulder blades like you're doing a squat. And the idea is, if you want to improve a motion or an exercise you're doing with a barbell, the accessory muscle exercises you do around that should be able to incorporate some of the lifting equipment or some of the movement of that lift. And here we have the barbell, and look, I do a few light squats here. I'm stiff. I'm by no means ready to squat, nor have I warmed up for squat, but I just sort of wanted to translate it to the movement for myself, and just, got my hands in that position of, okay, this is my back, this is how I want to put the bar on my traps, and so this is how I'm looking to pinch my shoulder blades back together, and this is how my upper back, lower back, glutes and hamstrings feel in the squatting motion, and then translating it back to this exercise that I'm now doing here. And I think there's definitely, when you're thinking about it logically, I think there is a direct connection to aiming to complete exercises where you're not necessarily doing the core movement of a squat, a deadlift, or a bench press, but incorporating either the motion or the piece of equipment into these accessory muscle exercises. I'll tell you what, man, you can see at the end here, I was struggling. I was red in the face and I was sore as to do those 4 sets of 10. Normally, I think in a couple other videos, I'm just doing a 10 kilo weight. So that's maybe a 15 or 20 kilo bar. So it's a lot more on my back. And then obviously, like, the amount of concentration I have to actually keep my shoulder blades, my scapula's retracted, and then keep the bar on my lats, especially coming down as well. The bar sort of starts to slip up, so you sort of have to put pressure on your back even more to hold the bar in place. Workout I've never done before today, and it'll be interesting to see how that translates later down in the week, when I start hitting squats and start hitting deadlifts again. I knew that motion, even without the barbell, is fantastic for the lower back, the glutes and the hamstrings, but the bar behind the head definitely rounds out that motion. I got that from watching Dmitry Klokov. I also saw some Chinese lifters as well. I think Lu Xiaojun incorporates that into his sort of back accessory workouts as well. All sort of on that sort of positioning that you get where you're on a reverse hyper. So your legs to your hips are locked in at a horizontal angle, and then you're dipping your head and your torso down below that, almost 90 degrees down below that, to create that 90-degree angle, and then you're sort of popping up past that 180 degrees as far as you can go to activate obviously your glutes, hamstrings, back. But it was effective. I think this piece of equipment in my gym will be good enough. And look, then I just rounded it out with some lat pull downs and then some cable pulls as well, just to mix it in. I don't really do the cable pulls too much in my regular back workout, so it was just something nice to mix in. And then obviously the bicep curls with the pulley as well, just to add a little bit more fatigue in the arms. Obviously your biceps are sort of secondarily activated when doing back, so this is just all to keep in the sort of the notion of having a pull day and no pushing. Other than that, man, it was a good session. It was good to learn a few tips from some experienced lifters in the world of that sort of Russian training philosophy. Klokov did say in the interview that that exercise, the sort of that reverse hyper with the bar behind your back, is the first exercise his coach got him doing when he entered his his weightlifting club or his weightlifting program in back in the day. And look, I think if world-class athletes and people who clearly know what they're doing are doing it, then why shouldn't I? I definitely have no problems with maintaining my form through that, and I think it's just work to reps, and eventually you probably put weight on that bar and keep going through there. But I believe if you have a goal, and so, my goal is obviously training every day, and sort of just to become the most well-rounded athlete, health, and have a healthy body as well, strong, fit, healthy body, and get to that as best I can. I think you have to look at these people that are in that top echelon of their career, and their chosen sport, to get ideas and training tips. Look, you don't have to take everything out of a training plan and implement it into yours. You have a selection. You can find heaps of things out there for free. You don't have to buy a training plan or anything, and you can just sort of pick and choose what you like and what you don't like and what you find effective for you. And might be there might be some people that, and I definitely see this 100%, that stay away from squat, bench, and deadlift. And there are definitely advocates in the fitness industry for and against these kind of movements. Some people love the use of machines, and you'll only see them ever use machines. Whereas some of them, Tatsuli, I'm going to butcher his name, but Pavel, the kettlebell guy, just say all you need is kettlebells, or you go Olympic weightlifting, they go, oh yeah, you can pretty much do everything with a barbell. And I think it's good to look at these people and look at the people who are in that top 1% of their sport, and take those effective exercises and those training plans out of there, and a bit of trial and error, implement them into your own training plan and see how they work for you and how they work, or if they work towards your own goals. But that's it for my thoughts today. It was a good session. I felt fantastic. On another late shift again today, so I might train before work, or it might be after work again, depending on how I feel, depending on how I sleep. But yeah, look, thank you very much. Cheers, and we'll see you in the next one.